Welcome back to the LEC as SK Gaming continues their winning ways by defeating Vedius today, and I'm joined by jungler Gilius. First, Gilius, congratulations, but what can you tell me about the base race? Because Searchers did defeat the Nexus on his dying breath, but it was a very close call overall.
Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, the base race call, we basically planted ahead of the Elder Dragon because we kind of thought that was the only way to win right there. Because if we go to the Elder, like, LeBlanc might just one-shot us, or Aphelios might make a 3-man ult. So thank God Synchro ran it down, and we could actually end here.
And what can you tell me more about the recent hackering priority that we've been seeing in the LEC, but across the international leagues? Because you played Hecarim today, and it's also one of your signature champions.
Yeah, I always liked the champion a lot. During the Miracle run with Schalke, or generally playing in Schalke. Sorry. Hecarim was a great success for me always, and now it's good in the current meta again, so I'm picking it whenever I can.
Speaking of the Miracle runs, SK themselves have been doing pretty well. Now we're discussing the playoffs chances because SK is now on a 3-winning streak. So what has SK been getting right in the last couple of weeks, in your opinion?
I think we just came together as a group. I think there was a lot of individual ego stuff at the beginning of the split, and we sorted all of that out. We are one now, we are one team, and we move together whatever we do on the map, and our practice is going a lot better, and we just love playing with each other now. The office has a nice atmosphere, and I mean, the organization is great. I'm really happy here. The food is great. The facility we play in is great. We have a personal trainer, we have a physiotherapist, so I love it here.
Wow, sounds like a utopia. What's the recent menu that you really enjoyed recently?
Can you repeat that?
What's the recent menu that you enjoyed recently? Sounds like a pretty good place, SK.
Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
No, it's okay.
I'm so sorry. Oh, you came to visit us, actually.
Oh. No, I was just making a joke on like how good SK environment is,
sorry,
but I'll just jump on to the next question.
I'm too stupid right
That's
now.
completely right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's completely fine. Speaking of things going really well within SK and you guys playing as a team now, Gilius, you led your previous team, as you mentioned, Schalke, twice on Miracle runs, both times to the playoffs. So what can you tell me about the current trajectory that SK has been seeing now, and will it end up in the playoffs?
Yeah, like the reason why it's usually my teams on big win streaks is because I'm a machine, and when I'm not playing well, I'm terrible. So I kind of figured out how I can be the machine that the team needs. And if I keep playing like this, we will keep winning. So I will just focus on myself. And I think my teammates are doing well anyway. And we will make it to the playoffs probably.
And as this SK continues to develop as a team, as you continue to find yourself within the team, what would it make for you, a veteran in the LEC scene, to make it to the playoffs one more time?
It would show me that I should probably stop inting the early parts of the split and try to win some games there too, so I don't always have to make it so close for my team. And it would mean a lot to all of us, yeah. Like, playoffs is always the proving ground where you get to face the top teams and learn a lot in BO5s. And I always take a lot away from every BO5 I play in my career so far. So I want my team to have that experience in playoffs.
Hey, playoffs is a playoff, so best of luck for SK in this Miracle run. Appreciate the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley. See you around.
See you around, and I'll bring it right back to the analyst desk for a pre-match of Matt versus Misfits Gaming.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Always great to hear from the machine in Gilius, giving us some great answers there. And I want to welcome you back to the Analyst Desk. I'm Vedius, and I'm once again joined by Nymaera and Thirsty Filter Hydratesen, whose thirst for knowledge knows no bounds. Now, before we get into the matchup, I wanted to bring up the standings given the results of the last game. Because of SK's win, you will now find them tied with the Mad Lions alongside 7th place. Now, of course, this means that this matchup today is massive for the Mad Lions, Nymaera.
Absolutely, because you only get so many games you get to drop just like as off games, right? And it feels like Mad Lions have had their quota of that now. This is a do or die situation for all intents and purposes. It can't really get any closer than this.
Exactly that. Now, we wanted to focus in a little bit earlier on with the Misfits. So, Ender, I'm going to come to you and talk about how they've been looking in recent weeks, because it feels like that they're looking like a top contender in the LEC.
Yeah, and I think their game against Rogue in particular showed you that they really can compete with the top, not just the ability to like hold on with them through the early and mid stages of the game, but that whole match came down to really quick on-the-fly decision-making, playing around double objectives late into the game, and they were able to beat Rogue in that stage. And I think that goes to show that this team not only has the talent to compete in the early stages, but also to out-mind game, outplay, outthink your opponents later on. That's the marking of a top team, and Misfits are in the top contender now.
And then you look at the other game where it was actually, against Excel, where it's just the early game gets thrown out the window, absolutely defenestrated. You're like, there's no structure at that point. It's absolute bloodbath. They've shown they can play all stages of the game, and it's really interesting to see this kind of complete package coming to the fore.
And Misfits showcasing that it's important to stay fit and healthy in preparation for all competitions. So make sure you stretch, everyone at home. Stretch those wrists, stretch those arms, get that blood pumping, because you know that Vetheo is going to be feeling good as he makes his way onto the Rift. He is someone that is in the discussion right now for potential MVP of the split. He set his expectations high coming into the beginning, but I feel like all we've seen from him is consistency throughout spring.
And right from the start of the split, he was playing different champions. He was playing champions which could succeed on their own. He was playing Silas and LeBlanc, where sometimes other people would be just more on the Corki, more on the Victor. He took individual agency and he's made it pay off. He took that responsibility and that trust has been rewarded.
Great. I thought that Ender would have something to say, but it seems that he doesn't care about VTO.
Well, that's enough said.
We're going to move very quickly on to the Mad Lions, and now I'm going to give an opportunity for Ender to give his input on the Mad Lions, because they have been struggling a little bit recently.
Yeah, look, please bear with me, first of all, for being a little bit sesquipedalian here, but Mad Lions went from literally being the best team in Europe last year, but after their defenestration this offseason, their play has been proletarian, middling at best. And what I really want to see from them is to get back to some of that form. And look, jokes aside, words aside, Nymaera, you stole my word. I don't appreciate that.
It's a fine word.
Like, one of the things that... No, one of the things, defenestration, come on, that's mine. It belongs to me.
Focus up, Ender. I'm here for analysis, not your little games, okay?
Yeah,
Tell
that's
me
what I'm trying to do. You keep interrupting me.
Tell me about the Mad
Unbelievable.
Lions.
Unbelievable. No, look, so honestly, one thing that I feel like has held Mad Lions a little bit has been their drafting, specifically around mid-jungle, because I feel like in the last few weeks of their play, they've drafted some champions that sort of mix-match themes a little bit, like scaling jungle with mid-lane champion that has really good setup for ganks, or you have a really strong ganking jungler with scaling mid-laner, picking double AP mid-jungle, like these types of things that have made it a little bit harder for them to play through mid, whether that's actually ganking mid-lane or using pressure to go hit side lanes. And mid-jungle duo was such a key factor in Mad Lions' huge success last year. So obviously they lost Humanoid. I'm not trying to recreate Humanoid in their new roster now with the Mad Lions, but I do feel like they have hurt themselves slightly in the draft.
Yeah, I think that drafting is something we've talked a lot about when it comes to the Mad Lions. I think something that we've wanted to see from them recently is just slightly more straightforward drafts, slightly easier to execute, especially with some of the growing pains that they've been going through. But we're about ready to get into games. So very quickly, one-word predictions, Misfits or Mad, Nymaera?
I think it has to be Misfits. Mad needs to show me more.
And
Misfits, ooh.
Okay, here we go. We're about ready for the game. So from the creators of Caedrel just cancelled it, and Pog, let's go, man. It's the award-winning and highly praised duo of Drakos and Caedrel.
Wow. Thank you. Don't forget Zilean Connoisseur, because I just looked at some stats. In all top 4 of the regions right now, Zilean's 9-0, undefeated. Bjergsen, Hylissang, Kaiser, Targamas, 9-0.
Caedrel.
100%
Yeah,
right.
it's a prestigious list of names. Thank you, gentlemen, for that segment. It was a recompentibus. I don't know.
You can't do long words.
I
I'm really bad at
Googled
them.
it in high school because I needed a dramatic word for some like video project. It means like a knockout blow, but it's like in the list of words that aren't even in the dictionary anymore because it's so useless. I think that's where Ender got his, but well, it's hard to be entirely sure. That said, it's not about words anymore. It's about actions.
Yeah.
Drama.
Actions speak louder than words.
Certainly do, and that is the case on the Rift. It is going to be the case in this highly anticipated match between Misfits and Mad Lions. Remember, Mad Lions losing here gets them tied neck and neck with the surging SK. Winning keeps their hopes alive in the playoffs run. Misfits currently tied for second. Who would have thunk it? Not me, most certainly. But if they win here, they will be tied second with the victor of Fnatic versus G2. If they lose, they'll be down third with the loser of Fnatic versus G2. So Misfits win their second, they lose their third. That is, of course, just for this week, but it is a big place to be for a team that we did not expect a lot from heading into this season.
Yeah, and it's still a tad early, but making yourself top 2 is always nice. First place gets to choose third and fourth, who they play in the upper bracket. Second place is automatically there anyway, and you can't get chosen. So sitting first and second is what they want to do, and Misfits, yeah, tied for second right now. Winning this would have put them one step closer to being in the top 2 later on in the split. But for now, they're going to have to take down the Mad Lions, who are the previous winners of the last 2 splits here in the LEC. Straight into pick ban, Zeri taken off the board, Victor taken away from Vetheo. Interesting, because we talked a lot of mid laners. Reeker's most played champion is Victor. He has 5 games on it, and he has a lot of his success coming from that champion, I believe. A lot of mid laners said that he's just kind of like his best champ's Victor. Don't give him Victor and he should be fine in draft. He has 3 wins on it, 2 losses, but they're the ones banning it away this time around.
Interesting. See what else he wants to go for. Of course, yesterday we did see a bit more of a comfortable laning phase from Reeker on the rise. Elyoya as well on the Lee Sin. Not bad, but we were talking about it behind the scene. Maybe needs to give more kills to the carry players on the team, although I can respect a Lee Sin who wants to finish the job.
Yep, same as me. Take all the kills, and then if you don't carry, you just blame them. That's just how it is as a jungle main these days.
Not that Elyoya blamed anybody, just to be clear. Caedrel blames
That's my solo
people.
queue game in a nutshell. That's why I'm hard stuck. Anyway, last ban coming in for Misfits is going to be the rise for Reeker. Normally we see the Aphelios Jinx trade here. If you want to prioritize them, Lee Sin first picks is things that we've been seeing around the world. But there's the Jinx, expecting Misfits to perhaps answer the Aphelios. And I think the Jinx pick makes a lot of sense. Neon right now in the LEC has played, of course, 12 games. 7 of those have been Jinx. And a lot of his wins have come from Jinx as well. Patrick similar is the opposite way, where he's played a lot of Aphelios. A lot of his wins have come from Aphelios. So I think that's just a denial pick there from Mad Lions.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. A good adjustment on the fly. The difficult portion of this is that now you're giving up Thresh as well as probably Aphelios here. And if you had gone with a Thresh first pick, you would have gotten your pick of whatever was remaining in terms of AD carry.
Yeah, I think they could pick jungle here as well. I mean, you're not really forced to pick your AD carry. You have 2 options. You can pick Aphelios here, play it safe, counter jungle, or pick a solo lane on 3, or pick your jungler now because you're not forced to pick your AD carry. Maybe if they prioritize Lee Sin or Xin Zhao. Both these players have got the most played on Lee Sin, of course. And when it comes to draft, you can look at champions played and things like this. They're just tendencies. That's just how the game works. That's how draft meetings work. That's how studying teams work. It's tendencies. Mad Lions with the Jinx pick denied from Neon. This time around, Shlatan getting the first rotation of Lee Sin to deny it from Elyoya, which won't hurt him too much. He can go Xin Zhao. He can leave jungle pick till 4-5, Gwen flex, go Hecker him on 4-5, things like this. But still, good scouting.
But I like it because you've got Thresh, which is an incredibly flexible support pick. Can be more of an aggressive option with engages, can be a bit more defensive depending on what he's up against in the lane phase overall. And Lee Sin, which is obviously a massive comfort pick for Shlatan. That said, Volibear going to be the pick for Elyoya. This is one of the champions that he made a name for himself on back when we were shifting over to the farming meta jungle, when it was the, I think, Udi or Hecarim kind of trading back and forth. He was the one playing Volibear and hardcore ganking all of the time. See if he can do something similar in today's match. The Nautilus is also going to be locked in. Potential now for Misfits just to match with an AD carry, or they could mismatch. But it would be giving up Aphelios, so feels like a pretty easy call here.
Yeah, pretty easy call to just go for the Aphelios here. If you don't, you're going to get banned away. Maybe they ban Aphelios Jhin and you're forced into something like Kaiser or Kalista lane. Not what you want to do when such a powerful champion is open. So, jungle and bot lane picked for both sides. Solo lanes left untouched. Now, for Misfits here, you could ban away blind pick top laners or counter pick mids. Depends on what you want to do here. You have 2 options. With a player like HiRit on your team, I'm expecting them to last pick top, and maybe just pick some kind of mage or like an Akali blind pick for Vetheo. And then for the side of Mad Lions, you're blinding both. Well, you can get a counter on one, but you're blinding the other. So you could look for a flex here, Misfits. Old school, things like Jace would flex towards mid and top, Ryze, even Set and Renekton were flexes. Yeah. But nowadays, there isn't that many solo lane flexes, I feel like.
I mean, I'm gonna say Akali one time, just for posterity, but
Akali,
I don't really believe in it. Aurelia is, please not Aurelia. Like, I understand on paper, very good. Been underwhelmed by the Aurelias we've seen recently, even if HiRit is an Aurelia enthusiast.
Okay, Narban is coming in, and now Nar kind of rose a little bit in spring in the eastern regions, and it was basically an answer to the Gragas. That was what most people were picking it into, and it's also kind of a safe blind pick top if things like Jace are banned away. The old school counters to Nar were things like Ken and Irelia Yasuo. Now, Irelia Yasuo a bit too volatile. Ken's still a decent matchup, but there's the Akali ban to deny it from Vetheo, which they expect is going to be the blind pick mid coming through. And again, Misfits here could ban a mid laner like Orianna, deny a control mage from Reeker to make sure Vetheo's life's easier. And with that ban, I'm looking at things like LeBlanc here for Vetheo. Lee Sin LeBlanc, great setup, fantastic kill pressure, really good poke in the mid to late game around dragons to deny them from walking into vision. We heard Gilius in the interview, well, we can't really fight that Elder because the LeBlanc's just going to one-shot us if we face check. That's the power of the champion. Mad Lions here, I think if they don't have an answer, like Lissandra, I think in the LCK today, Lissandra was picked into LeBlanc and they won the game. Then that might be a bit of a hiccup, but they're going to ban away the Syndra, leaving LeBlanc open. I wonder if they have a counter or maybe Misfits pivot.
We'll be excited to see Vetheo on LeBlanc, obviously the player that you look at consistently for Misfits to step up and be the big carry. You heard the Des talk about him. Fantastic season thus far. It feels like the big reason that Misfits have been able to win in difficult games, difficult situations. That said, could also opt to blind pick for HiRit here. Misfits really taking their time on this one. Not going to be a Vel'Koz. I can say that with confidence. Graves instead. Okay, so giving the blind pick over to HiRit does make sense. Leaves him open and potentially vulnerable to the Tryndamere counter pick, but as we've seen in the early game, Graves does definitely get the better of that matchup.
Yeah, looking at things like Gwen here, Tryndamere perhaps for the side of Armut could play it safe and just pick something like the Ornn if you just want full-on engage. That's another champion that I think that they were scared of, actually, now that I think about it. Mistake by myself. I think if you blind pick the LeBlanc when Vex is open, you're asking to get countered, especially when you're playing LeBlanc Lee Sin. So smart move there by Misfits, just pivot, pick the Graves away from Armut, who has the most played champion. It's most played champion for him this split here in the LEC. So denying that again from Mad Lions, and then obviously getting a counter pick mid for Vetheo.
Yeah, and I like that they've committed to the Vex on the side of Mad Lions. They're going to have to blind pick a mid laner anyway. Vex obviously pretty good playmaking from level 6 onward, and similarly soft denies the LeBlanc pick. So even if Misfits wanted to last pick it and go for it, they've already picked a strong matchup into it, which limits the strength of it.
Oh boy. Are we going to get Armut's Wukong? It's been a while.
It has been up. There it is.
We haven't seen it once this split, but it was his special. It was his bread and butter into the Jace. We saw it all throughout LEC Summer and Worlds, and there it is locked in. Now for Vetheo, it's a bit of an awkward spot here because Control Mage makes the most sense. Orianna's banned away, Syndra's banned away into Vex, can't pick LeBlanc. Azir would make sense, I wouldn't blame him for going something like this. Veigar makes sense as well. And for context, Armut on Wukong in the LEC is 8-0.
Damn, that's
undefeated.
Good numbers. That's almost as good as Zillion's win ratio right now.
Zillion's 9-0, baby.
Where's the Zillion salesman today? We're really going to try to lock that one down. But the Wukong has to be feared, has to be respected. We're going to see how HiRit can respond. But very often, it's not the laning phase that makes it for Armut's Wukong. It's the team fights. That is going to be naturally where our eyes look. Mad Lions in the past with their previous roster, legendary team fighting team, due in no small part to Armut's incredible ability on champions like Gnar and Wukong. But Misfits this season have not been a team that's afraid to scale up, wait for their champions to get strong, and just blast the opposition in team fights. So I wouldn't mind just going late and duking it out 5v5.
We'll see how it goes, because 5v5 is what Mad Lions want to do. Lots of dive. Vex, Wukong, Nautilus, all going on the back line. A lot of times we see dive comps with a Jinx, and it feels like the Jinx is kind of left isolated. But if she can step up far enough to get one reset, then she's almost like a dive comp herself, right? She can walk forwards with the resets and start getting rockets in there. Rockets follow-up is always good execute damage for your dive comp as well.
Yeah.
On the side of Misfits, you've just got really good range. You've got 380 carries. Graves, Aphelios, and Corki. You need to peel, kite back a bit, outrange them, poke them down before they engage. But I really like Mad Lions' comp here.
Certainly do. Gonna have to see how they navigate the early game on this one. Definitely like the Vex, definitely like the setup. Graves Smokescreen gonna be a valuable tool to limit some of the potential engage options, but it does feel like at the end of the day, Mad Lions just have more clean tools to get things started. But now it's time. Mad Lions versus Misfits Gaming. And here we go. Time to see how explosive this early game can be. Again, Volibear, very active early game jungler. Lee Sin can be as well. Certainly doesn't hurt to farm up to level 6 and have access to that kick, but early on we know how much of a powerhouse he will be.
Yeah, Reeker running the ignites, a lot of kill pressure in that lane if Elyoya does decide to visit. Question mark for me is how many winning lanes will Mad Lions have? Because I feel like the Wukong will get pushed in. Depending on where Elyoya starts, I think the Jinx can get lane push if she swaps to Rockets level 1 and forces the push, but of course, with Thresh level 1, maybe Misfits can fight back. And then in mid, I think Reeker can get the push, of course, but he's not running TP, so I think a lot of jungle support pressure will be needed from Mad Lions around mid to unlock Reeker.
And interesting, just the disparity in summoner spells on the bottom side, it's heal versus cleanse, so engage options not quite as reliable for Neon and Mersa without first burning that cooldown, but they do have more effective combat sums. In addition to the aftershock on Thresh, we saw Hylissang punish a Thresh potentially for taking Glacial with a Pike, and it's a similar story for Nautilus if he does get that gauge. Nautilus, of course, shorter hook animation, so can just interrupt the Thresh.
Yeah, and oftentimes all you'll see is as the Nautilus gets hooked, he hooks the wall behind him, so he can kind of pull himself back a little bit to escape. A lot of supports think Nautilus is good in Thresh, not so much a counter matchup, but a good answer.
Yep.
And just in regards to Unforgiven's cleanse, you might think, well, he's running cleanse against the Thresh. Maybe he's just kind of a little bit insecure about getting hit by the hook. Not so much the full truth. I mean, Aphelios has really good engage on Gravitum.
Absolutely.
The 2v2, the way Aphelios Thresh works is the Gravitum gun into Q from the Aphelios, and the Thresh can hit an easy hook, chain CC, and you're dead. So Unforgiven wants to make sure that the lane phase is safe from that point onwards. And this is the thing, when we look at bot lane, if Unforgiven swaps to his Q Rockets, he can push the lane in. Of course, Neon had to leash, and he can play range. So that'll be very useful in the early stages if they want to get a good base off. Hook in.
Going in. Aftershock proc, so Mersa's not going to take too much damage, but you can see those rockets are doing a little bit of work. Big thing here early on is Neon with the Severum as well as the Calibrum early. One of the things that makes Aphelios so safe, so reliable in lane is the fact that he has the extra range and the sustain, so hard to bully them out. But despite that, Kaiser, again, control of that bot lane bush. We cannot talk about it enough. If a hook champion stands in that bush, back up or you die. That's just the way bot lane works.
So Mad will have the early bot push. Misfits will have the early top push. And the question is Armut going to build Hullbreaker on Wukong? I wonder if he is. Would make sense for the champion. I think Graves is going to do the same. Play to steel caps. Straight into the Hullbreaker would be my expectation from Armut. I mean, he is against a double AD topside. Plays steel caps makes more sense. I think he went Hullbreaker on Jace yesterday as well. So if he can do it on Jace, he can do it on Wukong.
Yeah, what a thrilling time for item diversity on the top side of the map. So interesting. So many decisions.
It is interesting how the patch kind of works, right? Eventually people slowly realize, like, wait, this item's OP.
But wait, I want to have a quick moment here because this is driving me insane because people are like, wow, Hullbreaker is so OP. Jeevan came on Euphoria, former designer at Riot, now works for a different company, and said Hullbreaker is OP, please pick it. Please, please, please pick it. A year ago! A year ago, Mark! Yeah. And pros are like, where did this come from? Like, I think it's probably been there. To be completely honest with you.
Well, they're picking up on it now, which is important. And I've been seeing it on junglers too, so enough about Hullbreaker, because we talked about so much yesterday. I think the jungle Rek'Sai with Hullbreaker was the first kind of taste that we got of the efficiency. A lot of people on social media saying how strong it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, on 11-17, it got a little bit of a buff on the health, so that's maybe why people were starting to lean towards it a little bit more, because as the item came in, the initial release was a little bit weak, but it got a couple tweaks in Season 11 to make it stronger.
It's also a weird item. You know, conceptually hard to know the value, but now we know the value, and it's very OP. That said, we'll wait to see what's going to be built here. Elyoya on the bottom side, the ward will spot him out, but already a lot of pressure there.
There's the Gravitum, right? The 2v2 kill could have happened. You can see it on the screen. It's a little bit scary for Unforgiven. And there's a TP back from Vetheo. So this is the point where Mad Lions, your only kind of job right now is to get Reeker a good base. Maybe Vetheo wants to fight him in the wave to hold it. If he can crash this wave and get a base off now, he'll lose a wave, but still, he won't lose too much of it. I think Vetheo won't be able to push back in time, but he'll get a happy base. We saw Perks on Vex week 1. He could never really get his base off. He thought us on Euphoria. He kind of griefed it a bit, cancelling his base, staying for another wave, being a bit greedy, puts the Vex behind, want to keep up in tempo with the enemy mid.
Yeah, and obviously just so incredibly difficult to play a lane phase with Ignite. Hold that thought as the dive is now coming through. Shlatan setting up for the Q. Unforgiven now flashing out. Elyoya in the midst of everything. That's going to be 1, 2. Are they going to get 3? Neon, can he try to kill back? No, we can't get anything. Oh, that's the worst time I've ever seen.
It's an absolute horror for Misfits. They thought they had the early bot dive. They went for the 3v2 under tower.
Neon flashes forward to try and get the kill, but he doesn't have enough damage. Unforgiven lives, and Mad Lions, without making a single play of their own, just respond to 1, and they get 3 kills in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's bad.
That hurts. That does sting.
Terrible.
So I wonder what information they're working with here, because they think Elyoya cycled through his camps and is actually based in towards the top side now.
You can see like 30 seconds ago.
Misfits have a ward on his Gromp, so they think that his next camp's Gromp, so he should be top side. And Elyoya was indeed bot side. I would love to go back and watch Elyoya's pathing to see how he decided to move around the map here, but
Oh, man.
here just in time, the ward in the lane made it so he cancelled his recall to stay, saw the bot dive coming in, and now this early game Volibear, level 5, Lucidity boots already, and 2 kills.
And I want to be clear here. That was a flip, and for Misfits, they felt like it was a calculated flip. The dive itself wasn't what made that terrible. It was the fact that Elyoya was there and Misfits were not ready for Volibear to show up that made that so incredibly bad. And normally we get to talk about Elyoya, the Volibear, really powerful early game ganker. But frankly, if any jungler was there, it was a bad idea. Like, you could be playing Fiddlesticks. He could have walked up and cast a single fear at like level 4.
Get a quick double kill, yeah. I'd love to see how he actually ended up in that spot because, yeah, Misfits with the ward on Grom probably assumed that he's basing and running to top side already, so they had a small window. So calculated guess, I think, but it obviously came back to bite them with him staying. But anyway, 3 kills to Mad Lions. Important thing right now is if you look at the map, 2 wards top side, 2 pinks, 1 on the entrance of Misfits' red buff, and another pink on bot side. A lot of teams hang on Shlatan. That's flash.
Shlatan's going to be in trouble. Gonna have to ward hop out of this one. It looks like gonna have to use the flash as well. Elyoya, is he going to chase? Does not have a flash of his own, so will not be able to. Sweeps out, clears the ward, and life is not gonna get easier for Shlatan anytime soon.
Definitely not. Reeker with that mid push is always ready to move first with the ultimate. And I was just going to talk about vision control because Mad Lions own both sides of the river. You can't step in. Kaiser's already going to hook straight onto Mersa. I don't think they'll get a kill here.
Reeker level 6, but he doesn't have a lot of mana. That's going to be big. Maybe he has enough for a full combo. Quick, clever thinking there from Mersa. Uses the blue to taxi his way out to safety. And in general, looks like Mad Lions want to keep the pressure up on the bottom side. They found an advantage. Now, maybe they didn't plan for an advantage on the bottom side, but after Misfits so graciously spoon-fed it to them, they're more than going to make use of it.
Yeah, gonna take away his blue buff. And that's what we were just hinting on. Elyoya took the top grab away from Shlatan, 2 pink wards on the top side, a pink ward on the bot side, a ward from his entrance into river on both sides on bot lane. So, I mean, Shlatan, he's basically up against a map hack right now. Wherever he goes, he showed bot side, he's on a ward. He's going top side, he's on a ward. He's spotted. They should know that he's cross-mapping this blue buff. As he is going to start it. Elyoya is on his Raptors right now. Red buff spawning soon. You have 2 options as a jungler right now. You can go towards top, try to stop him taking your blue, or get more on the other side of the map. Level 6 Volibear, red buff into Drake. Could look for early bot dives as well. No flashes on their bot lane, so a lot of options for him. The only problem is you might drop the Herald that's spawning in 15 seconds. We'll see how Mad Lions react.
And Volley level 6 disabling the tower makes it that much easier as well. And you can see on the top side, at least in the 1v1 here, keeping the pressure up. Now we know Wukong expected to be more relevant. 1 item, 2 item, and if the team finds that hook hit! Oh, baby, getting away with murder there! That was the dirtiest hitbox! And now Neon's in trouble, because here comes Elyoya. Goodbye goes the tower. What? Oh, baby, can we get a vac ban? Kaiser is out of control.
Excuse me, what was that hook? Neon was behind the creep. I want to say, I'll wait till I see the replay before I jump to a conclusion here.
If that scene in
Can we get a slow-mo on this hook? Because
this minion's like Angelina Jolie. Hold on a second.
Oh my god.
Threads the needle.
That hitbox, I'm not so sure. But anyway, Misfits end up falling. We talked about Elyoya's pathing. They know Shlatan's top side, invading the blue buff. Vision on both sides of the river. Just comes the collapse for the dive. Easy does it. Kill goes over to Unforgiven as well. They can push out and move towards Herald now. You base together as your jungle bot lane. Push out the wave, go towards top side and take this Herald. The only risk you have is if you stay top side too long, you might lose bot waves. And if that's the case, maybe you can commit to a full swap. But right now, Armut is pretty fine in this lane. I think Unforgiven is just going to go back and catch the wave. We'll see if Misfits can look for some kind of dive or a dragon or zoning Unforgiven away from these waves, because otherwise they're losing. They're gaining absolutely nothing on this cross map.
2k gold lead. That's a 3-0 Volibear very early on. Not the pretty scary champion to give kills too early. Doesn't scale the best though, so it might not matter too much if we go late enough. But for now, this is really difficult. Good news for Neon. I was about to say that he's doing his best bad luck Brian cosplay this game with the botch to dive and now the hook hitting him out of nowhere. But with the power of the white gun, the chakram there, he is able to obliterate 2 plays really quickly. So that will give him a bit of gold back.
Wow, Misfits are the ones making these plays. Apart from that 2v2 bot there, that triple kill on the tower, the 3 kills on the tower really sucks for the early game, especially when Mad Lions have a comp where they have no TP in mid, they want to keep up mid push and move the sides with their stronger mid jungle. You basically hand it to them on a silver platter by 5 minutes into the game.
We rarely say make less plays, but this is a case where Misfits should have
And the importance of this game is huge, right? We talked about it at the start of the game. If Misfits win this, they're guaranteed type second. But Mad Lions are going to be tied with SK if they lose,
But
so this is such an important game.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's about winning more. Again, top 4 is what really matters because top 4 secures you place in the double elimination bracket. For now, Misfits are pretty safely there. Yes, there's 2 more weeks to play, 3 more weeks to play, 2 more weeks to play, sorry, 5 more games after this for each team. But Mad Lions, they're in the do-or-die threshold because if they lose again, they're tied with SK and they're 2 wins behind all the other teams that they're competing with. Vitality currently is 6-6, Rogue obviously untouchable at the top of the standings, but Mad are sweating for every win at the moment, and Misfits do have the luxury of losing, but certainly can't afford to make any more sloppy plays like that.
Definitely not, and if anyone's going to carry this, it might be Vetheo and HiRit, because they're the core members. Vetheo has been having an astounding performance this split. Of course, a lot of people talking about him as the MVP perhaps for Spring Split, and I mean, deservedly so. I mean, his gameplay's been through the roof. I mean, KDA, I don't like reading into KDA too much, you know.
If you win more, you have a higher KDA.
Yeah, I don't like reading into that stat too much. Damage is fantastic. Kill participation is fantastic, of course. He's kind of like the leader now for Misfits when it comes to moving around the map. And granted to him, he was kind of the only mid laner in the league that was playing Akali and Sylas and LeBlanc and these kind of things rather than just defaulting to Corki and Victor. This time around, the irony is that he did pick Corki, but he is a very flexible player. And yeah, massive props to him. I had the pleasure of talking to him, and his work ethic is just so clean. He grinds all day non-stop. And yes, most pro players do this, but the confidence this boy has is unbelievable. Renaming himself the 2022 Spring MVP at the start of the year.
Yeah, and we heard him talk about, you know, we interviewed him yesterday, and a lot of the questions were about his consistency because he has been so incredibly consistent. He talked about it being so important for him because he wants to be a player that the rest of the team can trust, and that the rest of the team doesn't have to stress about anything other than focusing on and doing their jobs because they believe that Vetheo is going to do his part. Vetheo is going to be the one who shows up when he needs to. And so far for this entire season, that has been the case. It was certainly the case yesterday when he was never dying on that rise, putting up incredible numbers, and we'll see if he can do it again on the Corki today to bring them back from what is a pretty big deficit in this early game.
I love the story of Vetheo because his debut game was so explosive with the Zoe, where he was in so many highlight montages throughout the whole year, but then he kind of was very quiet.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, our video editors had a hard time because that was that game, Caedrel, and then there was not a lot else.
And then his playoffs run was also left a lot to be desired. But now coming back after the break, new roster looks fantastic. But anyway, for now, HiRit and Armut been very quiet this game in isolation. He's got himself 3 plates. Both of them, of course, have Hullbreaker. No plate to steal caps for Armut just yet. I think when he gets that item, this lane will become a little bit easier for him. HiRit's probably going to build the same kind of thing, but just in pure isolation. Well, the ultimate to cancel his base as well. So Armut has TP, of course. I think he can take this base if he wants to. I think Smokescreen is on cooldown, so he can't actually cancel it again unless he walks up and Qs. And Armut's going to cancel it.
Difficult situation to be certain. Wukong, a lot more of the value is going to come in the ulti. HiRit is going to be in trouble here. That's so much damage. He didn't anticipate this one, and the auto still hits him.
So much burst coming out from the Wukong. Conqueror fully stacked. HiRit tried to run back and then flash over the wall and perhaps take the blast cone out. That was his only real escape from that play. Fantastic solo kill there from Armut.
And I think one of the big values of Armut playing this Wukong so consistently is that a lot of people just aren't ready for this pick. You underestimate the damage this champion is going to do with the Conqueror fully stacked with a Hullbreaker. And clearly HiRit just overstepped there trying to cancel the bases.
Yeah, really, really good play there. And you can see comfort for Armut, right? Armut, again, has been quite quiet this season. I mean, last year his biggest criticism was kind of Gnar Wukong every game.
Yep.
But it was a good Wukong game, so you can't fault him. Here comes the buffer in with the Q, so the flash doesn't matter. It's going to hit you regardless. And at a point where it looked like he was the one who was under pressure and he needed the base, HiRit was the one who falls in the end. Still has his plate steel caps now. Similar item builds coming out. HiRit using the ultimate offensively to cancel his base, and then the Wukong HP regen with the pots came through, I believe. Yep. And then it just went for the all-in. So good play there, but still his tower is under so much threat. I think despite that solo kill, I want to say HiRit's still ahead in gold, but still has to push.
Yeah, we can talk about the gold and maybe check on some of these individual lane matchups, but for now, I'll just say that it's interesting because both these champions are so strong into AD champions. Graves getting armor from the quick draw, and Armut getting armor from the passive. That said, hold that thought. Shlatan going to be in trouble here. Naka going to come in over the wall, but Misfits 4 men in the area, ready to fight if necessary. Mad going to back away. Kaiser giving up his flash and ignite in the exchange. Shlatan very confident, but he's going to get the blue.
Yeah, they're going to give up a bot tower here because their bot lane full swapped into this. They don't even have a Herald to play on, and they have no wave either. So this is a little bit of an awkward play for Misfits. Herald is spawning soon, I believe, but you've got 4 members up towards the top side. Kaiser and Elyoya can just sit here and defend any play that happens, and Unforgiven can get a full bot tower and push in the wave.
And I like this because it reminds me of the success that Mad Lions were able to find early in the split when Unforgiven was playing things like Karthus. Leave him on an island, let him farm, let him do his thing, let him provide pressure. Hold that thought. Armut in the darkness. Ulti just around the corner. Misfits not going to overpush here.
Yeah, good pink. Look at the vision Misfits have established. So yes, this play was bad for gold, but another resource in the game, of course, is vision. They have so much topside vision right now that you can just kind of play the game of what is it? You know, if they show topside, they're there. If they don't show topside, they're bot side, right? Process of elimination. That's it. That's how
that was a game for you?
Yeah, well, you know what I mean, right? That's just basically how Vision works in League of Legends. It's just a process of elimination, right? Unforgiven is going to show on this topside ward now, so maybe Misfits say, well, we can match top with our bot lane, or maybe we can play for some kind of dragon. Top tower is low for Mad Lions, so Misfits should be able to respond soon, but it looks like Mad Lions want to opt into this Herald. Shlatan obviously moving towards the bot side, might get himself a Drake.
Going to be spotted with Elyoya in the area, and Elyoya is so powerful at this point in the game, a difficult thing to contest. HiRit, though, grabbing more gold. The Graves is certainly strong. Armut can hold him, but he's only going to get stronger as we move later and later into the game. Looks like Misfits are going to trade for the Dragon now, matching up 1-to-1 on Drakes. We'll see what Rift we're going to get, as Ocean is just going to be the second of the game.
I'm going to say Hextech.
Hextech would be exciting.
Hextech would be exciting.
I'm going to say Infernal.
Okay.
I like less walls.
Ooh, you're right. Daniel Drakos.
Woo!
Time to do the lottery tonight, baby.
Hey. There it is.
Dragon picked up, gives away jungle information though, so Mad Lions can play as aggressively as they want. They can drop the Herald here as well to get this tier 1, but saving it for mid is always nice, but the problem is, of course, Vetheo's playing Corki, lots of wave clear. This tower is not even chipped down, so popping it here wouldn't be the worst play. As Unforgiven does hit the tower, looks like they're going to opt out of it for now. Maybe they fancy themselves a time window later on into the game when they have a little bit more vision to work with, or they do want to save it for that mid tower.
I think breaking mid tower is just so valuable here when you have a Volibear and a Vex who can make plays so much in this mid game, especially against Misfits, who are pretty comfortable sitting back farming, letting the Corki and Aphelios get a few more items under their belt.
Speaking of items, look at the AD carries. Unforgiven sitting on 2 full items and Berserker Greaves. Neon just has the Gale Force and a couple of components towards his second item, so AD carry is certainly very far ahead for Mad Lions, and as expected, the 2v2 kill, the bot dive, it all went to Unforgiven, as well as the full plates with the Herald 2. First tower as well, so lots of gold being funneled into this consistent AD carry that Mad Lions have found themselves in this offseason.
Yeah, man has been doing pretty well, especially at this split, again, coming from basically nowhere to join this team. Has had a solid split thus far. Armor getting kicked back, good use of the ulti early. Again, a lot of armor, as well as the Hull Breaker, means it's very hard to kill this Wukong. Corki coming in might provide enough magic damage, but they're going to lose a tower on the top side in the meantime. Armut with the Blitzcrank question mark. Going back, trying to juke.
Oh, he's baiting him with the W.
The S-juke! Oh, it's the Wukong Classic!
It didn't do anything, but it's just funny to see as a spectator, because obviously the players don't know, but you've invested 3 people to just kill a Wukong. You have no wave to play on, there's no towers. So you've just gotten 300 gold for what? You've lost a tier 2 top, a tier 1 top. This is going to hit Inhib Tower with Gen, of course, but still 2 towers for the side of Mad Lions. Misfits get themselves a kill. Another net positive for them. Neon won't be able to get this mid tower, however, it will be low.
Away briefly, Reeker doing what he can to catch waves. Relatively quiet game for him, just falling a little bit behind in CS. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to be a part of any of the 6 kills on the side of Mad Lions, but it has been a bit of a split and a bit of a scattered game. Reminder that Mad's almost entire lead, the way that they've been able to snowball, the way they've been able to put this Jinx so far ahead, it was from a single botched dive on the side of Misfits and one very well-placed Elyoya. So difficult game, but it feels like Misfits have recovered from that and are doing their best to just find a way back in.
Just made me think of that meme, you know, who would win? 3 members of Misfits going for a nice stacked wave bot dive. Elyoya, Volibear.
I was going to say one berry boy.
One berry boy, yeah, that works too, that's funny. I like that. Unforgiven going to pick up the red buff, building towards Bloodthirster third, I believe. Trying to get a little bit more survivability. Makes sense, what we often see AD carries do, especially on things like Aphelios and Jinx. His second or third item, BT, always works for them against poke, right? Corki good poke. Graves, not so much a poke champion, but does use his ultimate before a fight starts sometimes, just to toss out a bit of damage. Aphelios green gun can hurt every now and then. So building that little bit of lifesteal to make sure extended fights, he's always going to be healthy.
Yeah, and I think second item is maybe debatable against the enemy team because it's not like they have a ton of dive right up until Corki builds AP. And then you're like, absolutely you need that shield, you need that lifesteal, or you're going to get chunked out and you're going to be useless. A lot of people tunnel on the 3-item crit with Infinity Edge, but I like stepping aside, going towards a bit of lifesteal at this point in the game.
Something I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I'll try it here. Something else I want to bring up here is the minimap. See this ward right here? That blue ward of Mad Lions, that's a very risky ward for Misfits to play on. The problem you have sometimes when you play in the mid to late game, when you've lost these side lane tier 1s, it's kind of useless as they are in the mid to late game. It helps push waves in, but also it means your mid laner or side laner has to catch the wave past their tier 2, right? Yep. Their tier 1's down. It means that if, you know, Vetheo is catching a wave where the wave is right now, he can get TP'd on, bang, he's dead. Often we saw that in the lane swap meta, when you would swap back, the enemy team would have placed a ward when you go for the second tower, you get TP'd on behind, and from there you just lost all map control you once had. As Mersa hooks Armut.
Ooh, and you can see
the poke damage.
The 80 champions do not hit the monkey very hard, but the Corki hits like a truck. 2 items coming through, the Ludens on top of the fully stacked tier into the Muramana. Means big, big damage from this Corki.
Yeah, Misfits will end up picking up this mid-tier 1. So 3 towers to 2, and you can see the power of side lane towers. Reeker can push top lane all the way out to tier 3. Vetheo has to catch it in his base, and that just gives you so much topside pressure that Mad Lions can control. But for now, there's no objectives, of course, but later on, that's going to hurt when Baron's up. It's always useful to have tier 2s on the side of Nash, because you can push it all the way in. And similarly for Dragon. So Mad Lions, Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Will be the second Dragon for both these teams, but of course, Corki will have the package for this, expecting some kind of team fight. But second Dragon means that you can opt out of it. You know, if you fancy yourselves, think, oh, maybe we can't get control here, or we've missed all of our poke, you can just kind of beeline for a different objective. In this case, for Misfits, it would be that top tier 1 with that wave pushing in. Mad Lions have control for now.
Misfits trying to take back some mid lane priority. Mad Lions, you already highlighted so much vision in the pit. Misfits using a blue, trying to get some wards over the wall just to spot what they can. But of course, have to be very careful here. Walking into the Wukong, into the Volibear is certainly a terrifying prospect. The Vex as well with the follow-up CC could be strong, so Mad will just start this objective. Smokescreen comes down. Walking away now. The package, the other big cooldown you need to look at, but it looks like the Dragon is just going to fall, but Shlatan manages to take it away. Vetheo on the backside immediately going to package out. Armut taking so much damage. Might just be able to take down the support. Reeker goes into the back line, but does not get much done. Neon, Gale forcing forward. HiRit on the chase. Misfits taking the fight and the Dragon.
Very clean Dragon fight there from Misfits. Shlatan just ward jumps in the pit, smites it straight in front of Elyoya's face. I think he miscalculated the damage he would do to the objective. Armut tries to peel the backline, and Reeker dives in, yes, but he was diving in alone. Armut has already gone in and used his cooldowns, and he was already backing out. Misfits can't get themselves and Nash, but they might get that top tower. So let's look at this again, because Armut off to the side is clearing a pink ward, and HiRit's just kind of pushing his way in. It looked like this Dragon would die before Misfits arrived, because Shlatan arrives and it's getting burst down, but look, ward jumps in, smites it. I think Elyoya smites it first. Yeah, he does get to the 76. Now look at Armut on the side. He goes in and lands onto Vetheo. Vetheo's package doesn't go over the wall. Reeker lands the follow-up, but you're diving alone into 4 people at this point, because Armut's running away. Instantly gets popped and turned on. Kaiser was low already, and that will be that. Misfits get a kill, and they get the Dragon.
So good for Misfits too, because they were at a pretty big deficit. Now the gold is dead even with Misfits actually having the Drake advantage. And again, credit to this team. It has been a fantastic split so far. It was the Vetheo show at the start of the season, and now it feels like everyone is showing up. It was up and down for HiRit, it was up and down for Neon. And when you look at the standings, and again, what this game means, Misfits are fighting at the top of the table. Only Rogue stands above them. They are neck and neck with Fnatic and G2, and if they win here, they will tie whoever wins between Fnatic and G2 for second at the end of the day. On the opposite side of this matchup, Mad Lions fighting for survival in 7th. If they lose another game, they'll be tied with SK. They'll be tied at 7th, and they'll have to scrap their way up in the next 5 games to make their way into playoffs. It's such a hard road if you lose here.
It definitely is, and teams like XL and Vitality are kind of like, you start to become fanboys of teams towards the end of the split. You know, if Misfits beat Mad, then they're not going to get that extra win, so we're still 1 win above them, so that makes our life easier, you know. So teams start siding with other teams when it comes to the playoffs race, because of course every loss hurts, and Mad Lions are going to start up this Baron now. They have themselves around a 1k gold lead. A lot of that on the jungle and AD carry of Mad Lions. Misfits TPing in, so are Mad.
Neon, bad guns right now. If they start the fight here, the Aphelios is basically useless. They're just going to try to one-shot him, but again, the Gale Force taking him out to safety here in the midst of everybody, but the Bloodthirster keeping him healthy for now. He's dashing out, Unforgiven leaping forward, he gets the reset. That's 1. Maybe looking for another, trying to space this out. A big rocket hits him, and he could go down. Massive Aphelios ult on the backside of the fight, getting the blue gun just in time. Infernum stopping the Mad Lions Baron in its tracks.
Yeah, they're going to have to back off 1 rocket from Corki, and it might be a quadra kill if it's a big one. Massive Aphelios ult. I think it hit all 5 members there, chunking them all out. Maybe it was 4. Unforgiven was a little bit split, but still. Good presence of mind for Mad to just force the Baron and turn, make Misfits come into you, and then you can find which target you want to single out. In this case, I believe it was Mersa initially. They know they have really good follow-up. Good hook onto Neon, but Neon actually played this pretty well. Just kind of calm, cool, collected, pops the stopwatch, and then Gale Force flashes away. But then 2 of your other teammates are stuck on top of this dive comp. They all fall. Unforgiven gets a reset, and they have to pay respects to the Jinx. Let's watch this Aphelios ult again, though, because this kind of stops the Baron in its tracks. Yes, they can turn back and try it again, but Form and Aphelios ult chunks out all of Mad Lions, so that stops any more plays from happening. Unforgiven forced to flash at the end.
And this is a game where if Neon hadn't been put behind, that might have killed a couple of people.
Oh, yeah.
So good that they shut him down early on. Certainly a difficult situation, but Neon making the most of it. Of course, a lot of Gale Forces in this game. Going to be very important cooldown to track. Both, it's not the 90-second cooldown because I believe both these AD carries have taken Cosmic Insight. That or Ingenious Hunter are very standard if you plan on building the Gale Force. It does keep that active up as much as humanly possible.
I imagine it's Cosmic. They don't have Domination second, but I've seen a lot of AD carries go for that.
Those are the options. Yeah. I see they have inspiration. Don't worry, but I appreciate you trying to save me.
Yeah, no, but I've seen a lot of AD carries run that Ingenious second. Taste of Blood, Ingenious Hunter, always nice on a second tree when you're playing AD carry, or if you're playing with things like Hail of Blades, but Yeah.
Sometimes you want cookies, and that's okay too.
I love cookies. Love me some cookies. Mad Lions. Wonder how many of them had some cookies before the mid-game started. But anyway, Baron is their focus right now. Dragon's up in 50 seconds. Gives third Dragon over to Misfits, but Baron is always going to get you so much standing gold on the map. Mid and bot tier 2 are up. They're going to force it again, make Misfits walk into them. Might be a 50-50 though, because they don't have many tools to stop the Lee Sin other than a Nautilus ult over the wall. And Armut, of course, is laying in wait, waiting for Misfits to step foot in the river, and that's exactly what Misfits want to avoid. They don't want to walk into river. They don't want to walk into that pixel brush. One hook and the engage starts, so who's going to go first?
5K getting lower. Kaiser kicking things off. Armut off to the side. The knock on to HiRit. They're going to kick the monkey back into his own team. Neon has enough space to work with Gale Force as well. Misfits slowly but surely fighting front to back and cleaning this one up. Reeker gets a kill back onto Mersa. For now, it's a 4v4, but support for top lane. Positive trade for Misfits overall, and still the Baron will not fall.
Yeah, Misfits will get the Dragon now because Mad Lions have to base. They can't force Nash again. They don't have the damage. They don't have the tools if Misfits were to respond. And the way these fights are playing out is Mad Lions are able to kill one target. Most of the time, it's things like HiRit, Shlatan, or Mersa, but they aren't getting access to the backline right now. As we watch it again, by the time they get that single kill, the backline's already been poked out from the Aphelios green gun or the Corki rockets, so they can't actually step up. So in the end, this is a 1-for-1. Good kick by Shlatan. Looked a bit dangerous, kicking a Wukong into your carries, but the burst is fantastic. He dies. So now you've killed off the Thresh. You have a Vex ultimate. Where do you want to toss it? Well, you can't. Your team's chunked out from the Corki. They really need to get access to the carries of Misfits rather than this front line.
Yeah. Difficult situation. Really hard for Mad to play these team fights out well if they do not find a more successful Wukong flank. Because you just have Thresh, you have Lee Sin to disrupt and slow down these engages. Mad Lions just want to go full steam ahead, but if everything is not perfectly coordinated, it's just not going to work out. So Misfits now 3 Drakes on Soul Point, getting Infernal for this comp. Again, look at that Corki. Remember that Aphelios ult, and understand that if this team gets an Infernal Soul, the game is over.
So I think the biggest thing for Mad now is stop forcing the Nash. Wait for Unforgiven to get Infinity Edge. That's going to be the next biggest spike Mad Lions will find themselves having. Maybe a stopwatch on Armut will help a lot because Reeker has one too. The dives have stopwatchers. The AD carry has 4 items. That should give them higher chances to win these fights. The problem is Vetheo is level 16. Around 60-70 CS up right now on Reeker, who's level 14. And of course, the Vex without TP naturally does fall behind in CS because she tries to move around the map more. But as you said, 3 Dragons under their belt. Misfits also not under much pressure to force the Baron. Their scaling's fantastic. Neon is also building towards that Infinity Edge we expect too. But that spike for Mad Lions, keep your eyes on Unforgiven's items. When they come through, I think Mad Lions will start to force again.
Certainly the case. Additionally, one thing to consider is that there's no healing reduction right now on the side of Mad, outside of the double ignites, which maybe double ignites are enough, but if those cooldowns aren't up in a fight, you're never killing Graves. Corki's going to be hard to kill, and Lee Sin's going to be hard to kill, so something worth tracking.
Definitely are. Yeah, just solo lanes. Armut level 14, HiRit level 16. So much more gold and experience being funneled into these solo laners, which always makes the fights harder, and your sacrifice that for Mad Lions is mid-wave control, and they had it for the last 5 minutes trying to force Baron with that mid-push. But now they can't force it again until that spike does come through, so they're going to give up a little bit of pressure, and they should try to re-establish it when the item comes through. But slow game for now, 3 minutes on the Dragon.
We are turbo chilling, waiting for the next big objective. No reason for either team to go for anything that isn't a full-on 5v5. If they see an opportunity for pick, they can probably take it. You can see right now, Misfits clearly focused a bit more on the Dragon as they lay some vision down on the bottom side of the map.
There's Unforgiven's 4th item coming in, extremely strong on the Jinx now. So now you'll see Mad Lions start to push Misfits back to their tier 1, their tier 2. And that's the problem that Mad Lions have right now. Misfits' mid-tier 1 is still up. That hurts you so much when you want to get mid-control, because when you push in the wave, it crashes so quickly that Misfits can catch it very easily, and you can't ward the middle of the lane to cut off one of the entrance points for Misfits. But now that they have this item, red buff on Unforgiven, we should see it start them walk up a bit now, as they are doing so, and try to contest these mid-waves. Contest some vision. Look for a force, 2 minutes on the Dragon. They're on a timer here. You have around a 1 minute window here on the next wave to push it in and force Nash if you want to, but someone's going to have to fix the top waves. Reeker's running up there now.
Take what he can. Here, moving to the bot side, that makes sure to fix bottom wave as well. Neon trying to make sure he has the right guns for the fight to come. Vetheo with the blue buff can just keep spamming out here in the mid lane, building towards Shadow Flame, it would appear.
Next mid-wave will be very important for Mad. You'll see Reeker as he pushes in that wave. He leaves a couple creeps up because he needs to be on this wave very quickly. Armut's basing and running there now as well. Once they push this in, we might see a force from Mad because 1 minute 50 seconds on the Dragon. They want to make sure this play is quick and snappy. If they can force the Baron and get it, they're out. Job done, they'll be in time for Dragon. Or they can force the fight because this is probably one of the strongest points they'll have.
Very important timer as well because Corki still does not have the package, so one more scary cooldown to worry about, and Shlatan just winning the mental warfare that is Smite battles. Both sides. Again, next big fight feels like it's probably the game definer. Mad, yes, they got ahead early because of some mistakes from Misfits, but now we are neck and neck. But in a minute and 30, it gets way harder.
Oh, the rocket onto Kaiser already taking down the 60% HP from one single rocket. Armut was trying to find and engage, but now Misfits have control. They're going to take away their vision, and a lot of times when you have this dive composition, the scary thing is who face checks. Well, in this case for Misfits, your Graves can walk up a little bit, play with Lantern, but also you can just kind of toss rockets into the bushes to try and find who's there, throw out the poke. Mad have to walk back, you've taken a bush. Rinse and repeat, and that's how you can find control here. Armut's actually TP'd onto Vetheo.
Not going for it. Level 15 using the second stack of ultimate. Now just has to walk away. Mad Lions have given themselves control over the topside jungle through the use of that TP, but if they get nothing else for them, it's not going to be worth it. Mad Lions, Armut with a blinking health bar. Shlatan moving in on the side.
Yeah, Misfits control the whole game now. No ult on Wukong, no TP, really low health bar. Neon's pushed mid all the way to their tier 3. Mad Lions need to base and catch it. There's 30 seconds on Dragon, and Misfits could just start Baron if they want to hold you here as long as possible. I don't think Kaiser has any wards left either, so Misfits in the driver's seat. They could just wait, walk bot side, Mersa bases, restocks on wards, package for Vetheo, Infernal Soul on the cards. Mad Lions have two options. One, go to Baron, give the Infernal Soul. Will be very detrimental if they don't get a lot of gold after this Baron, or try and find your way in.
And that crab on Baron is what's keeping Mad in a position to actually fight back. With no vision on the pit, you know that it could have been an easy choice for Misfits, but now they know exactly where Misfits are going to go. They know that they have picked the Inferno. They have a choice. They can go to Baron right now and try to trade.
They have to go to Baron. You can't face check this Corki. It's so much. Level 18, 3 levels up, 4-item Corki. Misfits read the play. They read the play that they want to go Baron, so Mad Lions can't even get that. They can't even start it. Misfits keep this mid-wave control. They keep pushing it in, and it keeps showing members of Mad Lions. And as you said, that crab gave them enough vision. That's going to be an uncontested Infernal Soul. That's going to be a bot tier 2. Vetheo didn't even have the package. They just got it gifted to them after that TP play topside. And this early game for Mad Lions, as fantastic as it was, Misfits held strong. And now they're the ones in the lead.
And it's just, it doesn't get easier. Shadow Flame Corki with Infernal Soul, 4 items. Nautilus even has, you know, the crit reduction, courtesy of the Randuins, but he didn't build crit. It's just those rockets.
Yeah.
Good news is you got a 4-item Jinx. So there is a chance. There's a player that you can play around. There is a way you can set this up with a Wukong who's getting closer and closer to level 16. Maybe they can get something done.
I see the hope you're going for, Drakos, but 380 carries with Infernal Soul is monstrous. You can kill Vetheo, yes, but Neon also has 3 items now. You can kill them both, and HiRit's going to dish out a ton. And Baron's on the cards. Misfits probably just going to push out this top wave, push out mid wave, and just try to force it. Package on Vetheo, they've saved it. Here's the force. Does Mad Lions have any answer whatsoever?
Nope.
This mid tower still being up means it's so hard for them to contest anything.
They can't do anything because Vetheo can just poke with rockets, and if they overcommit onto him, he just packages out. Now, though, with him in the pit, they have to try. They're just going to lose this Baron. They don't have enough time to get in there. Elyoya has to confidently, immediately flash over the wall, but he will not do so. Hook goes wide from Kaiser. Keep your eyes on the Lee Sin kick and the hook from Mersa.
Did Reeker get hit by a rocket? He's already half HP.
Shlatan going in, fishing for the AD carry. Reeker going to get the fear off. Vetheo goes gold and buys himself a little bit of space. Unforgiven on the backside. Big rocket. Will not get a whole lot done as HiRit just chases down Armut. Misfits are just dissecting the Mad Lions here in the mid lane. They got the Baron, they've got the Infernal, and they can push to break open the base.
They have 2 waves to play on. This mid wave and top wave. They're going to get this top tier 2. We'll see if they fancy themselves this mid inhibitor. Of course, Kaiser is dead, so Mad Lions lack a lot of engage. Armut has no ultimate, and when those key cooldowns are there, there's nothing that Misfits are really scared of. What are they going to be worried about? There's no Vex, no Wukong ult. Nautilus is dead. Who can really threaten the backline of Misfits? They're fine splitting up. That's top mid inhib. Top inhib's going to fall too. I think this might be it. They might just be able to push in and end if they land some critical poke.
Misfits can play it out slow if they want to. Neon has to be careful. Lantern does take him out to safety. Hook goes in on the Kaiser. Looks like this is where they know that they need to fight, but Misfits are just slowly peeling back. Armut trying to fake him out. You notice again, he just presses S. He's faking out that he went invisible and he's running in, but to be honest, I don't even think they mind if a Wukong runs into them. Look at the damage. That emote says happy bee, but I think we all know that was a sad bee.
It was definitely a sad bee. These rockets hurt so much. Vetheo, I wonder what item. He could go for a Zhonya's right now just to play it safe as his last item, but as we see, Death Cap, as we see, the Baron gets taken. Vetheo has package. He's pretty much untouched. I think Reeker might have gotten hit by a rocket earlier on or an Aphelios Q. And, oh, Shlatan. Nice little cheeky kick there. Hits the Q onto Unforgiven. Ward jumps away to kick Kaiser to make sure they have some sort of engage. Vetheo stopwatches Reeker's combo. And that's a kill over to Misfits. The siege began. They got the mid inhibitor. There's the Zhonya's for Corki just to make sure, you know, the dive is pretty much negated with your flash and with that defensive item. And Misfits will go for the 1-4. HiRit in top will beat out the Wukong of Armut, push into this inhibitor, and Mad Lions have 2 options. 1, just 5-man botting engage before HiRit can land a TP, find some miracle engage, or try to catch HiRit. That's what they're doing right now. Unforgiven and Reeker are hovering around the top side, but As long as HiRit pays respect, waits for Mad Lions to show on this bot wave, he should be dead.
This is Misfits' game. Mad Lions need a miracle to find a way back in. You've highlighted a couple of the ways. They have a level 16 Wukong. Reeker now level 16 as well.
Where's the TP gonna go? There it is. Really far away, so Misfits might see him as he runs.
But Graves can just end the game if they ignore this Graves on the top side as he pushes in with the wave. And they haven't really done anything. Elyoya already taken a big chunk out. Armut waiting off to the
game
side.
right now. Mad Lions are trying to engage, but HiRit doesn't care.
Shlatan just buying a bit more time. A clean kick back. You love to see it. HiRit's just gonna auto-attack the Nexus, and that's it. Bad dive be damned. Misfits are not messing around. They will secure, for now, sole control of second place in the LEC.
Who'd have thunk it?
Not me.
10 kills to Mad, 5 for Misfits. The early botch dive, 5-0 to Mad Lions in the early game, and yes, kills aren't like game deciding.
Dude, no, this is.
I'll tell you a quote. Do you want to hear? I heard a quote once. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Good macro never gets outscaled. I think we saw that there. Misfits just playing with their food around Drakes, respecting Mad Lions' windows.
When Misfits were nestled in the middle of the pack, I didn't know what to expect from them. But the fact that they came back from that deficit, that they held on both mentally and in the game in terms of macro, is an incredible sign. And this feels like a team that is deserving of being top 3 in the LEC right now. Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter. HiRit, Shlatan, Vetheo. No wrong choices. Incredible, incredible performance from Misfits.
Yeah, if I think back to 2 critical moments, it was that second Dragon for both teams, the Infernal, where Misfits went out on the fight. Mad Lions didn't really have the coordinated engage, and the second one is Armut's TP behind Misfits, trying to solo kill Vetheo, losing his ult, losing his HP, losing his TP. Those 2 points gave Misfits so much control of the game where they shouldn't have had it. Yep.
Well, Misfits are going to secure their 5th consecutive win and move on to 9-4 and second place in the standings. After the break, Astrid will be joined by Shlatan to talk a little bit more about that match. We'll see you right back here after the break.